Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I am Umar Qureshi from Dr. Sirajul Islam Medical College and I am in the 4th year. I am the team member of the Medimartt. Medimartt is a platform for the medical students. As you all know that we are regularly trying to share some short videos on different topics. So here we come with another video. This is a video on the basics of the heart, and hopefully this will be the last video of the basics of the heart. Then after that we will start the internal structures of the heart, inshallah. Okay, so let's move towards our topic. As you all know that we are referring A K Dutta. So right now I will read one by one line, and I will discuss all the things given in the A K Dutta. In our previous video, the 10th part, we have covered up to the features and the relations of the sternocostal surface. So in this video we will be covering from the diaphragmatic or the inferior surface. So first of all we will move towards the diaphragmatic or the inferior surface. Okay, so this is the diaphragmatic or the inferior surface. You can see this one is the diaphragmatic or the inferior surface. Now what A K Dutta is trying to say, that it is flat. Okay, it is flat, you can see it is flat, then it faces downwards, it is facing downwards, and it is facing backwards. Okay, you have to say just like that. Then it is formed only by the two ventricles. You have to understand this thing, it is only formed by the two ventricles, and 2/3 by the left ventricle, as this is the left side, so 2/3 by the left ventricle, and this is the right side, so 1/3 by the right ventricle. Now it is separated from the sternocostal surface. Okay, so as we all know, in the anterior side there is a surface called as the sternocostal surface. So it is separated by the sternocostal surface by the inferior border. So here is the inferior border, so it is separating, this inferior border separates the diaphragmatic surface with the sternocostal surface. Okay, now from the base by the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove. Okay, this is the base, okay, and this is the diaphragmatic surface. So this diaphragmatic surface is separated from the base by the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove. The groove which is separating the atrium and the ventricle is called as the atrioventricular groove, and as it is present on the posterior side, so that's why it is called as the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove. Now, and from the left surface by a less defined unnamed border, which is backward continuation of the inferior border. As we all know that inferior border is present over here. Okay, so and this is diaphragmatic surface and this is the left surface. Okay, so what A K Dutta is trying to say, that this left surface is separated from this diaphragmatic surface with the unnamed or the ill-defined border, which is the continuation of this inferior border. Okay, so this inferior border has a continuation over here, which is ill-defined. This thing is ill-defined and unnamed border, which separates the diaphragmatic surface and the left surface. So that's the point. Now let's move towards the features of the diaphragmatic surface. So the features of the diaphragmatic surface are the posterior interventricular groove. As we all know that there was a interventricular groove in the anterior side, and that's called as the anti-interventricular groove. And what is interventricular groove? Basically interventricular groove separates the two ventricles. Okay, as these are the two ventricles, right and left, so that's why it is separating the two ventricles. So that's why it is named as the interventricular groove. So this is the posterior interventricular groove, runs forwards, as you all can see that it is running forward along the surface and meets the inferior epiphysis chordates. We already know, or we already discussed in our previous video, that there is a notch or present which is known as the inferior epiphysis chordates. Okay, so this posterior interventricular groove, this runs forwards and meets at the inferior epiphysis chordates. Now this groove basically indicates the posterior attachment of the interventricular septum. Now your teacher will ask you, like, what's the attachment of this posterior interventricular groove? So you have to say, ma'am, the attachment of this posterior interventricular groove is the posterior interventricular septum. Now the following structures lodge in this groove. Now what is lodging? Means the contents of this groove. Okay, means some parts or something going into this groove or coming into this groove. That's the content of this groove basically. So what are they? Basically posterior interventricular branch of the right coronary artery. So you can see that this is the red part, the red color one is the posterior interventricular branch of the right coronary artery. Already it is given in the name, as we all know that the name of this groove is the posterior interventricular groove. So that's why it is called as the posterior interventricular branch of the right coronary artery. Why right coronary artery? Because the right coronary artery is coming like that and it is moving like that. Okay, so it is named as the posterior interventricular branch of the right coronary artery. Now middle cardiac vein, this blue one is the middle cardiac vein. Okay, and the last one is anastomosis of the interventricular branch of the both coronary arteries. Understand this thing, that as I already told you that the right coronary artery is coming like that and it is moving, or it is lodging into the posterior interventricular groove, and it is naming or the name of this artery is the posterior interventricular branch of the right coronary artery. Same just like that, we already saw that it was the anterior surface. Okay, in the anterior surface, the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery was lodged. Okay, and it was like meeting on the insutrapezius cordis, and it was like moving or coming to the back side. This is the insutrapezius cordis, and it was coming to the back side. So it was the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery. So that's the point what A K Dutta is trying to say, that anastomosis of the interventricular branches. This is also interventricular branch, and this is also interventricular branch of both coronary arteries. This is the right coronary artery, this is the left coronary artery, and anastomosis, this is the point where these two are like joining. The joining point of these some arteries or veins is called as the anastomosis. Okay, that's the point. Now moving towards the relations. Relations are basically three layers of the pericardium, we already know. Then the central tendon and the musculature of the left part of the diaphragm. We all right now just understand a little bit about the diaphragm. There is a central tendon present in the diaphragm in the center. Then basically diaphragm is only made by the muscles, so that's why it is called as the muscles sometimes. So what here written is that central tendon and the musculature of the left part of the diaphragm. So the relation is the central tendon and the musculature. This is the musculature. So musculature of the left part, because the heart is basically resting on this diaphragm on the left part. So the musculature of the left part of the diaphragm, to which the fibrous pericardium is adherent. Actually the fibrous pericardium is attached to the heart. That's why the fibrous pericardium is adherent. Okay, adherent means it is like stick to it. Then the cardiac impression of the liver. There is a liver is just like that. So here the cardiac impression of liver is present, and the fundus of stomach. Stomach is just like that. So here is the fundus of stomach present. Okay, below the diaphragm. Right now just learn all these things. You will understand all these things when you will learn about the liver and the fundus or the stomach. Okay, now moving towards the left surface. So for that we will revolve our heart like that. Okay, so moving towards the left surface. So this is the left surface. Okay, so what here written is it is directed upwards. Okay, as we can see that it is directed upwards, then backwards, as we all know that it is oblique in direction, so it is directing backwards. Okay, and to the left, as this is the left side, so that will be to the left. Okay, now formed mainly by the left ventricle. It is formed mainly by the left ventricle and partly by the left atrium and its auricle. Okay, so partly by the left atrium and its auricle. This is auricle. Okay, so left surface is mainly formed by the left ventricle, and a part of the left auricle and the left atrium is also included. Now features of the left surface. Features of the left surface involves the left part of the atrioventricular groove. As we saw in the right border and the right part of the atrioventricular groove, a lot of things were present. So just like that, the left part of the atrioventricular groove is also present over here. So in the left part of the atrioventricular groove intervenes between the left auricle and the left ventricle. So what here is written, that the left part of the atrioventricular groove, it intervenes, or it is coming in between the left auricle. This is the left auricle. It is coming in between the left auricle and the left ventricle. So that's the point, and lodges the following structures. What are the structures present in it, or what are the contents of this left atrioventricular groove? So those are the trunk and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery. I already told you that trunk is the main branch or the main part of that particular artery. So trunk of the left coronary artery and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery. Circumflex branch basically comes from the circumference. Okay, when something is moving to or covering the outline of the circle, that's called as the that it is covering the circumference of that circle. Okay, just like that, it is moving towards the or it is moving in the circle, that's why it is called as the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery. Then termination of the great cardiac vein. Understand this thing, understand that this line is the left atrioventricular groove. So and this is the great cardiac vein. So great cardiac vein is coming like that. Okay, so it will terminate here. Terminate means it will end here. So that's the point. So what are the contents? Contents are the trunk and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery, Okay, then termination of the great cardiac vein, this is the great cardiac vein, it will terminate here, it will end here. Then the commencement of the coronary sinus will commence here, okay, start here, from start here. So just like that. Then the relations of the left surface, what are the relations? Relations of the left surface are the three layers of the pericardium, again same thing. Then left phrenic nerve and the pericardiophonic vessels, we already like discussed this thing in the right border and the right surface. Okay, there was the right phrenic nerve and the pericardiophonic vessels, it will like directly go and attach to the diaphragm is attached just like that. So it will like directly go and attach here. So left phrenic nerve and pericardiophonic vessels. Then mediastinal pleura, we already discussed about this thing like mediastinal pleura, please refer to our previous videos. Then cardiac impression of the left lung, the lung is like that, I will show you again. The lung is like that, okay, just like that, as this is the left lung. So heart will present like here, okay, it will like stick to it. So that's why this impression of the lung is called as the cardiac impression. So cardiac impression of the left lung. So these are the relations of the basically the left surface. Now moving towards the demarcation of the atrioventricular groove. So demarcation of the atrioventricular groove, this is very important, just remember this thing and understand this thing right now. Okay, first of all, where is the atrioventricular groove? Atrioventricular groove, it basically separates the atrium and the ventricle. So this is the atrioventricular groove. Now what A K Dutta is trying to say, that atrioventricular groove forms a C-shaped curve. As you can see that it is a C-shaped curve, okay, it is a curve and it is C-shaped, and it is deficient in front due to the presence of the root of the pulmonary trunk. Okay, as you all know that this is the root of the pulmonary trunk. So that's why this atrioventricular groove is deficient in front. Here we can't see it, so that's why it is written that it is deficient here. Then the next point is it is subdivided into the anterior and posterior parts. Okay, we already know that as this is the anterior surface, so this is the anterior atrioventricular groove. Then in the posterior surface there will be a posterior atrioventricular groove. So that's called as the or we can say that the anterior we can say that the atrioventricular groove is subdivided into the two main parts, that is the anterior part and the posterior part. Then again the anterior part consists of the right and left halves, or we can say that anterior part is again subdivided into the right and left halves. Now let's see, this is the right part, so that's why it is called as the right atrioventricular groove, and this is the left part, so this is called as the left atrioventricular groove. Okay, now moving towards the next paragraph, that is the right part of the groove runs downwards. We can see that this is the right part, so right part of the groove runs downwards. Okay, and to the right, as it is on the right side, that's why it is moving towards the right, between the right atrium and the right ventricle. This is right atrium and this is right ventricle, so it is intervening between the right atrium and the right ventricle, and contains the trunk of the right coronary artery. In this only the trunk of the right coronary artery is present, so it contains the trunk of the right coronary artery. That's the thing. Now the next paragraph is saying that the left part of the groove, as this is the left part, so left part of the groove intervenes between the, okay, so left part of the groove intervenes between the left auricle, this is the left auricle, and this is the left ventricle. Okay, in the right part only the right atrium and the right ventricle was present, and in the left part the left auricle and the left ventricle is present. Okay, then the next point is it lodges the trunk and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery. Okay, what it is lodging? It is lodging the trunk and the circumflex branch. Okay, here the trunk of the left coronary artery and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery. I already told you about the circumflex branch in this particular video only, so please, like, if you did not understand that, please rewind that video. Okay, so the it lodges the trunk of the left coronary artery and the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery, and termination of the great cardiac vein, same thing, termination of the great cardiac vein, and the commencement of the coronary sinus. Now we will move towards the posterior part of this groove. Okay, so posterior part of the groove is just like that. So in the posterior part of the groove, it intervenes between the base of the heart and the diaphragmatic surface. This is the base of the heart, this is the diaphragmatic surface. So the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove, it is basically intervenes, or it is present between the base of the heart and the diaphragmatic surface, and it contains the coronary sinus. Okay, I already showed you that in the anterior surface, in the anterior part of the atrioventricular groove, the coronary sinus was commenced. Okay, so the atrioventricular groove or the coronary sinus will come like that. Okay, so that's why it is saying that it contains the coronary sinus and the anastomosis of the right and left coronary arteries. Understand this thing, as this is the right part, so right coronary artery will come like that. Okay, and it is the left part, so left coronary artery will come like that. Okay, this is the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery and this is the right coronary artery only. So these two coronary arteries will meet at one point. So that's why it is saying that the anastomosis of the right and left coronary arteries. Now the next point is the meeting point of the interatrial groove, posterior interventricular groove, and posterior part of the atrioventricular groove is known as the crux of the heart. This is very much important. Please understand this thing right now. The meeting point of the interatrial groove, this is the interatrial groove. Okay, then the posterior interventricular groove, this is the posterior interventricular groove. Okay, then the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove, this is the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove. Okay, the right and left halves. So again I will discuss that the interatrial groove, okay, then the posterior interventricular groove and the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove, posterior part of the atrioventricular groove of the right and left side. So this point at which all these things meet is called as the crux of the heart. So this is the crux of the heart. Okay, so that's the point. Now we will discuss some important observations, some features that we need to understand, and it is asked by the teachers also very randomly. Okay, so basically apex is only formed by the left ventricle. We already know that this is left ventricle, so apex is only formed by the left ventricle. Now base, it is only formed by the two atriums. Okay, then the right border is only formed by the right atrium, and the diaphragmatic surface is only found by the two ventricles. Okay, now your teacher will ask you, like, please tell me the 2/3 and 1/3 features of the heart. So you have to say first of all that 2/3 of the base of the base, as this is the base. Okay, so 2/3 of the base by the left atrium, this is the left atrium, so 2/3 by the left atrium and 1/3 by the right atrium. So base is formed by the 2/3 by the left atrium and 1/3 by the right atrium. You have to remember this thing. Then 2/3 by the 2/3 of the sternocostal surface, this is the sternocostal surface. Okay, so 2/3 of the sternocostal surface by the right ventricle, this is the right ventricle, so 2/3 by this right ventricle and 1/3 by the left ventricle. So this is for the sternocostal surface. And the last thing, the second last thing we can say, that the diaphragmatic surface is formed by the, means 2/3 of the diaphragmatic surface, it is basically formed by the left ventricle and 1/3 by the right ventricle. This is the left ventricle, so 2/3 by the left ventricle and 1/3 by the right ventricle. It is opposite to the sternocostal surface. In sternocostal surface, 2/3 was the right ventricle and 1/3 was the left ventricle, and in the diaphragmatic surface it is 2/3 by the left ventricle and 1/3 by the right ventricle. It is opposite, so you have to remember just like that. Okay, now the entire heart. Okay, what is it is saying that 2/3 of the entire heart to the left of the midline, as we know that there is a midline just like that, so and heart is like that. Okay, so 2/3 is on the left side of the midline and 1/3 is on the right side of that midline. So that's it, guys. If you love the video, then please do mention your friends and please do like share it as much as possible, because it gives us motivation to make more videos like this. And thanks a lot.